6 months ago, I was all in on ChatGPT. I was using it for everything, writing, brainstorming, just chatting through the problems. It worked, it was fine. Then I tried Claude, and the difference is mental. ChatGPT can answer questions, Claude actually does the work. It automates stuff in my business that ChatGPT couldn't. It's like going from having someone who you can talk to about your problems to having someone who actually solves them. Within a week, I cancelled my Pro ChatGPT subscription, and in this video, I'm going to be showing you 4 features that helped me make the switch. Every single one is something ChatGPT fundamentally can't do, and I'll be showing you some of those use cases. So before we jump into the video, a quick bit of context. My name is Mitz. I run Quantum Lead Gen. We help individuals understand AI, but not just the AI jargon speaking AI, but we show you what actually works and how you can implement it in your day-to-day life. We also work with businesses to automate their processes using AI and automation. So I'm not just using Claude for fun. This is our website, and if you want to book a consultation, go ahead and click the book consultation button, fill out the form and a bit about your business, and we could jump straight into it. Someone will be in contact, and we'll go through the process. So here's what we're covering today. So feature 1 is Claude Chat with a Humanizer skill. So your AI actually sounds like you wrote it. Feature 2 is Claude in Chrome. This helps you automate browser tasks without having to write a single line of code. And Claude Cowork is to hand off the real work, like, for example, take these receipts and make me a spreadsheet. Feature 4 is Claude Code to actually build programs that actually work for you permanently without actually even knowing a line of code. And if you stick around right till the end, I'll give you a challenge that will get you set up with all 4 in under an hour. So let's get right straight into it. But this first feature alone might be worth the actual switch. So here's what used to happen with ChatGPT. I used to ask it to write me an email, a LinkedIn post, or a client update, and the output always had AI words or AI jargon. And you probably know what I mean. So some of the words or some of the sentences in today's rapidly evolving landscape delve into, it's important to note that so my clients could tell, my colleagues could tell, I could tell, and if the whole point of getting ChatGPT to write something where you have to write the whole thing again anyway, what's the point? So before I show you the solution, let me explain what a skill is, because a skill has to be invoked within Claude. So I've got the Humanizer skill already installed. All I have to do is click the slash, and the slash then gives me the options to invoke any of these skills I've already got in Claude. So I've got the Humanizer. So now I've clicked into the Humanizer skill. Any text or any content I put after this would ensure that the content is scanned with trying to find out all these AI written words, and it will strip them out and give you alternatives. And the way to do this is, let me go back from the start. If you just go to Google, click Humanizer Claude skill, and it will be the first repository, GitHub repository. You click into the GitHub repository, and within here, it will show you all the words. It kind of detects the patterns, the vocabulary, emojis, and all that good stuff. When you go to code, go back to the top, download it as a zip. I've already downloaded it as a zip. And if you go back to your Claude session, click customize. From customize, click skills. So from skills, I've already got it installed, but all you have to do is click the plus button, create skill, and upload the whole zip file, and it will then be installed. And what I would suggest here is just go through it, read it, and you can actually add in your variations as well. So you can add in your language patterns that you want it to check before you post any content. The feature number 2, this is where Claude actually stops being an assistant and becomes an actual worker. And this is a Claude extension in Chrome. So all you got to do is go to Google's store, whichever store you have. If you're on Mac, Apple Store. If you're on Windows, it'll be Microsoft, and download the Chrome Claude extension. Right, and you go to the Chrome Web Store. I've already installed it, and then it will sit here at the top. And now if you click into it, you can enable it. So now you have a AI assistant that sits on the side of your Google Chrome. And one of the things that you could do with this is actually help you search for flights when you have other things to do. So you can actually type in something like find me a flight from London to India in April, and it will have to be the cheapest with no stopovers. So if you just type this, and what I normally tend to do as well is act without asking. So it will just go do click the buttons, search for the results. Whereas if you do ask before acting, it will actually pause almost every single click and every single button. So I would do act without asking, and it'll be a bit more autonomous. I'll do act without asking. It'll give you a high risk. So um, what I wouldn't do is give it your credit card and details like that, so you can make the purchases and all that sort of stuff. So don't do any of that. All I want it to do is just find me flights from London to India and find me the cheapest. So that's low risk. So then if I click go, you'll have the Chrome browser now being taken control by Claude, and it'll start creating the flight plan, and it will just go about its business now. So I'm going to pause it here. But as you can see, it's going to type in, and you can be quite specific as well. So which airport? But the good thing about this is you have a tab open, but now you can just carry on doing work that you want to carry on doing. So it's working there in the background, and it will come back with flights which are the cheapest that I asked for, and then once it's finished, it will just finish its work, and it'll give you like a report on what it's found. And you can be quite specific as well if you want to go to Skyscanner, Google Flights, whatever. But yeah, if we just switch back to the chat tab again, it will carry on until it's done all the flights and it's found the cheapest flight. And like I said, it will report back to you. On Cowork, this is honestly the reason I cancelled ChatGPT. I've got a folder on my desktop made full of receipts, photo receipts, and end of month is coming. I need to turn them into proper expense spreadsheets, categories, total, dates, the lot. With ChatGPT, I'd upload each receipt one by one, manually copy extracted data, paste into Excel, format it myself. So with Cowork, I point Claude at a folder and say, take these receipts and create me an expense report in Excel, and that's it. Let me show you how it's done. What you need to do is download Claude Code Desktop. So how you do that is just type in Claude Desktop. It'll take you onto a Google search page. Click the top one, which is Desktop App. Ensure you download it for whatever operating system you have. New task, you point it to the folder where your receipts sit. So for my example, it's in Downloads. And then you just give it this prompt to read all the receipts and invoice in the folder, create a spreadsheet with column names, vendor, date, amount, category, and the payment method. I want it to be sorted by date and add a summary of totals at the bottom. So if I just copy and paste that in and I go, let's go. Claude will then start up a session and start working on the request or the prompt I've given it. So I'm just going to pause it until it does the work. So as I've done this before for another demo, it has actually found an existing Excel sheet. So it's just going to update that spreadsheet. But after it's finished, it will then open up my Excel with the formatted data and the running total of all the receipts. So it's almost executed all the task, or it's been given, and now it's created the Excel file with should be all the receipts and the amounts of some dummy data I've given it. So the last one, this is one for something a bit more permanent. So Cowork is brilliant for one-off tasks, but what if you want to automate something properly? I want a script that watches my receipt folder, extracts the data automatically, and updates my spreadsheet every time I add a new receipt photo into the folder, download folder, receipt folder. I want a tool that processes the booking and sends the right notifications without me having to do anything. So that's Claude Code. It's a command line tool that actually builds you the software, and you don't need to be a developer to use this. I'm not a software engineer, but all you have to do is describe what you want in plain English, and Claude Code writes a program. Build your program if you just go to Code and then just type in plain English what you need it to do. So if we go back to my previous example, what we did was take a bunch of receipts from a folder and create an expense spreadsheet. But if I wanted to automate this, what I would want to do is explain to Claude Code, that any new expense that comes into this folder, I want you to add it to the expense spreadsheet. And I'm just going to type it a simple prompt, build me a Python script that watches a folder called receipts. And whenever a new image or a PDF is added, it extracts the vendor's name, date, amount, and then it appends it to the Excel and in the Excel file, which is called expense tracker. So if I normally keep it auto accepts edits, otherwise it'll ask every time it makes a decision, it will ask for permission. So I always have auto accepts edit. It was already pointing to the download folder receipts. And if I just go ahead and click go, it is now building the actual Python script for me programmatically and creating me this automated task. So I'm just going to pause it here. So just to show you this as an example, it then went and downloaded the necessary tools, libraries for it to do the actual work. So it's creating me a Python script called watch receipts, and then it tells me how it works and all the supported formats. So this is Claude Code. So now if I pull this all together, we have 4 features, 4 levels. Claude Chat with the Humanizer skill writes like a human. Think of it as your copywriter. Claude in Chrome, which automates your browser task. It's like your virtual assistant. Claude Cowork handles real tasks with real files, acts like your employee. Claude Code builds permanent automation and is like your engineer. So ChatGPT only does the first level, whereas Claude Code gives you all 4. So as promised at the beginning of the video, I want you to do one thing today. Go to Claude.ai and sign up for the Pro plan if you haven't already. Install the Humanizer skill. It takes 2 minutes. Rewrite something for your content or emails and see the difference for yourself. Install Claude in your desktop and Chrome so you can automate one of your browser tasks you do every day. And that's it, 20 minutes. Once you see what Claude can actually do, you won't go back. If you try this challenge, drop a comment saying I made the switch. And if you want to go deep dive into any of these 4 features, more advanced workflows, real business use cases, tell me in the comments below. And if you want help getting any of these set up for your business, head over to my website. Links in the description below. You can book a call and we'll walk you through it together.